Yes. Hell and heaven happen from you outwards. From you outwards. I'm going to now start into the names of the planets according to ancient Africa. And this is a topic and a half. But you're going to comprehend it directly because I've been teaching it small. I've been teaching it small. Guys, really, I don't feed you too much because I know. And this is what I want you to do is appreciate, not bulldozing into things. Because as you guys are students here, some people are always like, oh, I know you always feel like I'm not saying everything. But I never say everything because you're not ready, because people are not ready. When the collective consciousness is not ready, I will sound like a fool. Kenyans will start calling me stories a Java. So even if you are an oracle leader, a tarot reader or whatever, always just go with the astrological lessons. Give people information when they are ready. Because right now, and just to give an example, right now I'm going to give you, like I've been teaching you 7 planets. Some people are mad. Why is she teaching us about Chiron? Why is she teaching us about Neptune, whatever? It will not make sense to you until you fully digest the cradle. The branches will never make sense to you until you fully digest the roots. When you fully digest the roots, then when I bring the cradle, when I bring the branches, then you're like, oh. And that is what is going to happen right now. Hizo kidogo zinanitosha walai, napenda sana Saudia. Asante for our family. So now even today, as I teach you the African name for the planets, it's going to make a lot of sense to you because I've taught you the cradle of what the planets are all about. So today we are just proofreading, we're just proving the point. Let's start. Names of the planets according to ancient Africa. Ancient Africans portrayed planets as deities sailing across the heavens using self-powered boats. To ancient Africans, when they looked at the celestials, they called them deities that are sailing across the heaven using boats that are what? Self-empowered. That are self-empowered using the self-electricity. Now that is how they viewed the celestials and the planets. These planets traveling the sky using self-powered boats were known as stars that know no rest in ancient Africa. In their travel of the astral and expansion of the multiverse, ancient Africans had reached the 8th dimension and was still committed to moving forward into discovering all dimensions of existence. So before we took this diversion of slavery, colonization, and moving backwards, Africans had already reached up to 8 dimensions. And I'm going to tell you what dimensions is. And when we started going live, I was always telling you, people who are from United States are in a different timeline. People from Kenya are in a different timeline. Nigeria, different timeline. Philippines, different timeline. Australia, different timeline. Canada, different timeline. Dimension. Time is dimension. So Africans had moved up to a particular dimension, meaning they had harvested as much. Guys, when I talk about these things, get it from the roots of it. Because Europe has another language that is not comprehensible to the African DNA, and it is by intention. It is intentional. So dimensions is, as you harvest the planets, you are moving into dimensions, like you're harvesting time. Dimensions are different timelines. Somebody who has harvested 30 years is in a different timeline from somebody who has harvested 50 years. And it's in a different timeline from somebody who has harvested 2 years. So by the time the Europeans were existing, they were realizing that Africans were too far into dimensions. So they said, "Hey, you have to wait for us, so you have to wait for us, so as we're just starting this shit, you guys have gone too far." That was the politics. Now, in their travel of the astrals and expansion of the multiverse, so I'll read this again so that you comprehend. In their travel of the astral and expansion of the multiverse, ancient Africans had reached up to the 8th dimension and were still committed to moving forward into discovering all dimensions of existence. When I mean Africans, I'm meaning our immediate ancestors. Remember, we are not the first ones here. Remember, recall how African history starts. African history doesn't start from the first century. African history starts from the 25th dynasty, giving the mantle to the first century. So when I talk about these Africans, I'm talking about the ones that started from the first century up to now, this century that we are on. We are creating our own pearl, our own storage, but there are certain entities that also existed that they already reach all dimensions. So when I talk about this particular dimension of 8, I'm speaking about our immediate ancestors. We have infinite ancestors, and then we have our immediate ancestors that were moving. Remember, generations, they start alphabetically from generation A to generation Z. A to Z, A to Z, A to Z. So many A to Z, so many A to Z have come. But now our own A to Z, we're already at the 8th dimension. I hope that makes sense to somebody. All ancient Africans cared about was spiritual ascension. All our immediate ancestors cared about, before they met that brutal diversion, all they cared about was a spiritual ascension into all dimensions of existence, all while keeping Ubuntu spirit intact and thriving. Our immediate ancestors, a lot of people ask, what did they build? I don't see what they built. I don't see what they built. Why don't you see what they built? Because they were utilizing nature. They were making vehicles out of nature. It will not make sense to you right now, but when I teach it in future, you will see. There are certain animals who they even are created in the shape of a wheel. If you've seen the world long enough, you've seen such kind of animals. Africans were not creating vehicles out of plastic or out of metals. They were creating things to utilize out of the animals, out of Ubuntu. It's not easy, but they had discovered a way to use the animals around in transport, to use the animals around in everything that they were doing. Ascending without interfering with Ubuntu. That was the goal. I'm going to continue. On top of the sun and the moon, the sun and the moon are celestial bodies that are readily visible to all infinity. All infinity can see the sun and the moon. But now when it comes to seeing all other planets, now you have to get to a particular level where you can recognize and see. But everything born, a child, everything born, the animals in the jungle, they can see the sun and they can see the moon. So the sun and the moon were celestial bodies that were readily visible to all infinity. And ancient Africa had discovered an additional 5 planets, which is Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn, from their 3rd dimensional existence, which is Earth, giving the ancient Africans access to a total of 8 dimensions: the sun, the moon, Earth, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Uranus. Not Uranus. The sun, the moon, Earth, Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Venus, and Saturn. The harvest of the ancient African deities, Eru, was highly associated with 3 of these dimensions: Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, that were building Pluto. They were actively building Pluto. By the time we are being born, Pluto already shrunk. We're going to a Pluto is no longer a planet. But our ancestors were the ones who were swelling Pluto. They remember what is happening down here is what is happening up there. We stop transforming, Pluto shrinks. We start transforming, Pluto swells. What you dwell on swells on. And so therefore, without active harvest of Heru, it was impossible to access Mars. It was, and I know I'm still using Mars, Jupiter, whatever the Roman names, but I'm going to change them as we go. For now, I just want you to comprehend what is behind. So without active harvest of Heru, it was impossible to access Mars, it was impossible to access Jupiter, It was impossible to access Saturn. And therefore, the names that ancient Africans gave these 3 planets were directly associated with Heru for that reason. Without Heru, without harvest of Heru, there's no Mars. Without harvest of Heru, there's no Jupiter. Without harvest of Heru, there is no Saturn. And remember, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are the ones that form Pluto. So when you look at the sky and you see Pluto is shrinking, in fact, Pluto has shrunk beyond recognition. What does that tell you as a spiritual individual? Africans were the ones who were swelling Pluto. Our immediate ancestors were the ones who were swelling Pluto. Transformation. Transformation was on the way. The transformation of the planet was on the way. So you can see what was attacked. Taking of action. The moment Africans stopped taking action, the moment Africans stopped expanding, the moment Africans could not restrict rest, Pluto started to shrink. So now, Heru was known in ancient Africa as a naturally complex. Listen to this point. Heru was known in ancient Africa as a naturally complex and self-contradictory god who existed in more than one identity. Each identity of Heru represented a different unit of Heru's being. All the different identities of Heru were known to share features with one another. What is that? The 24 Herus. Every day we get 24 Heru. Every day we get 24 Heru. Every day we get 24 Heru. It is the Romans that came and called them hours. 24 hours, 24 hours. In ancient Africa, it was every day we get 24 different types of Heru. And remember, what is this saying? Heru was known in ancient Africa as a naturally complex and contradictory god who existed in more than one identity. Each identity of Heru represented a different unit of Heru's being. All the different identities of Heru were known to share features with one another. The 24 Herus would form one unit of Heru's existence. So what are the different identities of Heru's existence? That is what we're going to get into. Mars. Number one is Mars. Mars was called Heru the Red One in ancient Africa, or Heru the Horizon in ancient Africa. Heru the Red One, or Heru the Horizon. Horizon to represent those that take action daily to fill the air. Every day when you wake up, which people do you meet outside? People only go outside when they're going to take action. So Heru filling the horizon, that is what was called Mars. That is what the Romans came and called Mars. But in ancient Africa, they called it as it is. Remember, Africans, they call things as they are. In Africa, when somebody tells you in Kiswahili, unangorota, they're telling you you are snoring. Unangorota. Well, we Africans used to name things according to what they truly are. There was no hidden meaning. So Heru was called Heru the Red One, Heru the Horizon. Heru the Red One was symbolic for Heru's dominion over chaos by taking action. Heru the Horizon demonstrated this planet's intersection of the earth and sky as a symbol of dominance over the entire multiverse. According to ancient Africa, Mars, which is Heru the Red One or Heru the Horizon, was the planet of authentic action. And it was this authentic action that ruled the entire horizon in order and authenticity. So from today, instead of calling Mars, you can start trying to call it Heru the Red One. When you just hear the word red is symbolic of blood. Blood is always moving. The way blood moves is the way human beings move on the road. The blood is always moving to deliver things. You know, it's always working. That is what Heru the Red One is all about. When you wake up, you find somebody is delivering eggs, where? Somebody's transporting somebody somewhere. Somebody's doing this. The roads are full. The roads are moving up and down, left and right. And even our roads are marked with, left. Some are moving left, some are moving right to mark the deoxygenated and oxygenated blood moving. Heru is not a Greek name, so go research again. Horus is what they came up with. Heru is our own. Aset giving back to Heru. So you just knew, you just wanted to flex. Okay, whatever, it's still the same wordings. So at the end of the day, just master whatever it is. There's no need to come flex here. At the end of the day, we're just learning. So let me continue. Listen to what the Greek did to counter Heru the Red One. Listen to what Greeks did. Nani, wachana maneno mingi sonu. Let's continue. Listen to what the Greek, because I'm going to be teaching you the planets and then how they were inverted. So up to that particular point, are we together? When you hear Heru the Red One, just think about the red blood, the blood. And how blood is the movement of the blood that is building your body. The way blood is working is building your body. It's the same way with the planet. The way we move, we're delivering, we're doing this. I'm seated here, I'm talking to you, every movement, action. When it comes from a point of authenticity, it is what is making everything move. So Heru the horizon, meaning in charge of the entire horizon, Heru the Red One, symbolizing the blood. Now, in contrary, the Greeks called Mars Aris. Aris with the word A-R-I-S, which was the Greek word for the god of war and destruction, that had the role to create conflict, to create violence, and to shed blood. Remember the Heru, the Red One. Now the work of the Greek god, which the Romans later called Mars, started from Aris. Now Aris was created by the Greek to counter Heru the Red One, to make sure blood is shed, to make sure removal of taking action is made, to make sure violence and conflict. When there's violence and conflict, nobody takes action. And Kenyans will tell you, during Tuesday, when Kenyans were on the road all the time, the people that were suffering the most were action takers in the CBD. Whenever there's chaos, action cannot be taken. Wambui, I'm not talking about that Aris. I'm talking about A-R-I-S. A-R-I-S. That's why I spelled it. Can somebody spell it for us, please? A-R-I-S. It's different from A exactly. Aris Mama Nikwa, merci beaucoup. So now, I'm giving you these names. Go research. You're going to find out who these people are. Remember, the Greeks, their only job was to counteract. And they did an amazing job. I will salute the Greeks' ancestors because they were committed to making sure we wait for them. And Africans are very proud. The white man couldn't take it. Africans were like, hey, you, if you're lagging behind us, we're gone. But then the Greeks were like, hey, you're going to be waiting for us. And we waited. Look at us now. We are now here like we never, like our ancestors never took any action. We really waited and they really worked and they succeeded. That's one I'll tell you for free. That one I'll tell you for free, they worked and they succeeded. Never look down. Never look down. They worked and they succeeded. They did what they wanted to do and they succeeded and they made sure that their descendants, we waited for their descendants and we've waited. Now in contrary to Heru, the Red One, the Greeks created Aris, which the Romans later called Mars, which was the Greek god of war, destruction, that had the role to create conflicts, violence, and bloodshed against authentic action-taking individuals in order to depopulate Mars. And they depopulated Mars. Right now we live in a timeline where people are saying mass is inevitable. You cannot live in mass. Mass is whatever. But thank God we have, one of their descendants is now saying, let's go back to mass. We are going to mass, we're going to mass. So when you hear people are saying we're going to mass, Africa, put your eyes out. Because this is a journey that our ancestors were already taking. If you hear people are saying we're going to mass, and you sleep, you are not going to make it to the promised land. I'm going to move to Jupiter. Walitunyoa nywele, exactly, walitunyoa kutumia wembe, si hata wembe, kutumia chupa. Walitunyoa kweli kweli. Walitunyoa kweli kweli, walitunyoa. That is one I'll tell you for free. So now the descendants just know that we are also different. Tumenyolewa, sisi ni wale ambao wamenyolewa. So kwenda itakuwa competition. Inaenda kwa competition sana. The actions that you are in a child were telling you to take those actions now. If you did not take them, this is the time. This is the time. Those actions that you're afraid to take. White man's language is coded. You will never comprehend as an African individual. You will never comprehend. It was strategically coded to leave you out. You will never comprehend, but then they comprehend it in DNA. Go to Europe and you will find their deities, their cities are built in a way that their deities are everywhere. There are deities everywhere. When a child is born, when they start walking and they start walking on the streets, subliminally, the ancestors are entering them. They were strategic. They were very strategic, but guess what? We are strategic. We are strategicist. Our ancestors were strategicist.
And can you return them?
They were strategic. So just always know that, don't underestimate.
You're not gonna what?
Don't underestimate. So up to that point, are we together when it comes to mass? Do you know what mass is? Yes, and that is the reason why we need to, because somebody's talking about this, the reason why I really looked, Sonu, thank you for saying this, even though I lashed out at you in the beginning. Thank you for this particular comment. Ours were trapped in buildings. Those ancestors of ours, they carry Heka energy. But our ancestors know that Africans, you have to go an extra mile a little bit. You have to stretch. You will not be spoon-fed. The European ancestors are being spoon-fed. African ancestors, nobody is going to spoon-feed you. So even the Heka energy, visit those places. Go visit those places where our ancestors' energies are being hidden. The Heka energy that is there, you will land your eyes on one deity and it will change your life forever. You don't have to even take it home. Some of those deities, you just have a look. And that's it. That's how strategic our ancestors are. But then the reason why I'm talking about this is I met a very prominent individual, a very Pan-Africanist prominent individual, and I told him, why don't we start moving these things back? Do you know what this person told me? But now if you move them back, who will store them? In Europe, they are stored safely. Omera, you guys think we are somewhere near. You don't know the type of people who are in charge of us here. And that was a Pan-Africanist. That was a Pan-Africanist who told me such kind of a thing. I felt, and that was my last time speaking with him. I said, this is not the place I need to be at. These are not the people I need to be. So that is where we are when it comes to relying on politicians to help us bring our things back. Some of them, they don't give a fuck. They're like, oh, but in Europe they're stored nicely. Leave them there. So me, I wanted to start telling them that I wanted to start my spiritual things because nitakuwa napigia mbuzi guitar. Because when somebody thinks like that, there is no way you're going to convince them out. So the men who are leading us, African women, you are the hope. You are the only hope we have. The men who are in leadership positions, most of them, hakuna kitu hapo. Hakuna. wamefungika macho, hakuna kabisa. So now I've told you about, African women are the future of Africa. Do you think men are going to do anything? Nothing. Men are weak as fuck. African men are weakened by sex as fuck. Bottom of the barrel. Weak. That's why you see, even when I talk about such kind of things, men are rarely here. You find 1, 2. And that is how it is. Everywhere you find 1, 2. And remember, these are the people who are supposed to be protecting us. Because women, protection in the physical dimension is not easy. We need men. We need men to surround. For example, me, if I'm to build the midwife center, I need men surrounding every place. Nobody comes in. But right now, the men of our time, no marriage. No, most of them are even looking down on us. Then they want to go to Europe. So I soon, Jupiter, we're getting to Jupiter. So you know what Saturn is, right? What Mars is. How Mars was called in ancient Africa, Heru, the red one. Heru, the horizon. Yeah, Christianity did well. They uprooted everything, guys. Don't underestimate.
Okay, for that last one.
And even when you are at home with Christians, don't underestimate those people. Just keep your distance. The best thing you can do with a Christian is keep your distance. If you start arguing with a Christian, you will go into the abyss. You stay to the abyss, stay away. Stay away. Vengeance is the law. Those people are in deep in their work for the Greeks. They're working for the Greeks did a good job when it comes to converting everybody to work for them. So stay away, stay away, stay away. Yes, Nyati is one representing. Thank you very much. The men who are here, thank you. Thank you. And may you be given access to the wealth of Africa. If you are a man who is awake, may you be given access to the wealth of Africa. May you be given access to the wealth of Africa so that you guys make things right. Because at the end of the day, men are the ones who are supposed to be protecting spirituality. Me, when I'm surrounded with men here who are masculine, who look very scary, nobody would dare. If I'm surrounded with African men who look scary as fuck, nobody would dare. But those African men who look scary, they are busy peddling their asshole, or they are busy kissing other men's asses. No, they are the Luos. My brothers, my own brothers, and I grew up and I know them. Useless kabisa. So now Jupiter. Jupiter was known as Heru, who bound and illuminated the two lands. So remember, Mars was known as Heru, the red one. People are laughing. Mars was known as Heru, the red one. Jupiter is now known as Heru, who bounds and illuminates the two lands. Heru, the mystery of the two lands. Heru, the merchant, linking to the promised land. This is what Jupiter was. You know, something about Africans, they praise. You know, Heru, the merchant, linking to the promised land. Heru, the mystery of the two lands. Heru, who bound and illuminates the two lands. Which two lands? Listen, and you've known the identity of Mars, India. You've known the identity of Mars, right? You can now see Mars. Merchant is like trader who connects to the promised land, and I'm going to explain for you so that you know. Jupiter in ancient Africa was known to be the planet that binds the past and the future. The two lands that Jupiter was known to bound and illuminate and join into one were the land of temporary consciousness, which is the body, and the promised land of infinite consciousness, which is the Abba. Jupiter was the one who would bind that little child that you're seeing there in the version of themselves that has made it. Jupiter is the one that binds those two. You're being to expand. Every Thursday, you are binding the two lands together. You are illuminating the two lands. You are empowering the trader, the messenger that joins you to the promised land. Jupiter, the planet of expansion, was known to be the mercant that linked temporary consciousness to the promised. Is it possible to get to the promised land without Jupiter? Is it? Is it? If you never expand, if you shrink every day, you know some people when they say you change. I'm sure you also ask. If you're someone who you grow so much, people will always ask you change. We are supposed to. Every time somebody asks you change, you change. Ask them, why are you remaining the same now? You are harvesting every day. When you're somebody who you harvest every day, you're bound to change. You're bound to reach. Even children, they don't stay the same. Nothing is meant to stay the same. Everything is meant to change. So in contrary, this is what the Greeks created. In contrary to Heru bound and illuminate the two lands, the Greeks called Jupiter the planet of expansion, Zeus or Dia.
As long as you get it done.
Zeus, to them it was Zeus, the shrinker, the one that cuts the connection between the temporal consciousness and the infinite consciousness, the one who limits the two lands from ever meeting each other. That was Zeus. Zeus or Diaz. Diaz is just the way I'm saying it. D-I-A-S. Zeus. And you can see Diaz is almost day. It's almost like Opus Dei. Now, Zeus was there to symbolize thunderous and violence limitation of world expansion through Olympics. Because Olympic Games was started to pay homage and to worship Zeus. Now the Olympic Games were backed to warn a universal failure and to restrict expansion of universal winners through thunderous intimidation and iconoclasm, making Ganymede, G-A, somebody write this as I'm saying it, because I don't know how to pronounce most of the Greek words. Ganymede, which is G-A-N-Y-M-E-D-E. Who was this? The ice cold intuition. The ice cold, yes, Ganymede, please. This was the ice cold moon, the ice cold intuition that became, remember Pluto shrank. So as the Jupiter, as Zeus was making sure that nobody expands, that they only empower mediocrity, and they instill iconoclasm. I think I've told you iconoclasm before, which is the annihilation of the icons, annihilation of the talented, making sure that only mediocre are showcased, only making sure that mediocre are empowered. So with that process, this particular moon became the biggest moon in Jupiter, which is the moon of coldness. And today you try to expand, you are met with ice cold intuition of iconoclasm, which is functioning up to today. Try expanding, try doing best for yourself. People will say, hey, you've changed. Look into them. Now they've joined the Illuminati, you are met with ice cold. Instead of people celebrating you as a nice son, who is making it through expansion. Right now we expand, especially as an African, including your own family. Start to feel terrible. They start to feel bad about it. Why? Because of this particular moon that is called Ganymede. Is that really the yes, Ganymede, not, yeah, Ganymede. Something like that. Ganymede. Right now you try to make it big, everybody.
will be very
You try to
Come
make
in
it
the back.
big,
Oh, she's
everybody
gonna tumble. Look, there she goes.
doesn't like it. Where are you going? We are not supposed to go there. We're supposed to be shrinking. And Olympics was created specifically
You wanna tumble?
to honor that. So when today you see Hollywood only empowers the least talented. They empower the least talented. By the way, if you think people in Hollywood are talented, you don't even know what talent is. The most talented people, even in music, they've never gotten a Grammy, they've never won anything. And you know them. People like Disturbed, who sang the song of The Sound of Silence. Those are masterpieces. People like Apache, always singing masterpieces that are spiritual. You never got them. Iconoclasm, still working up today. Look at the Olympics. That's the reason why they're putting men in women's sports. It's continuing up to today. And as it continues, this particular Greek moon of Jupiter is swelling. Yes, look at Zeus. Zeus is like a masculine entity of the Greeks. Very thunderous. If you try to expand Zeus himself to you, he will stop you with immediate effect. Its work was to make sure that mediocrity thrives and excellence is diminished. And because of that, Pluto is dying. Pluto is dying. If you don't know yet, go research. Pluto is dying. Pluto is is no longer becoming a planet. Pluto is dying because Pluto is not being empowered. No action is being taken that is authentic. Expansion is not happening. And you know, Saturn is usually there to restrict that over expansion. Now people are misusing themselves instead. So Pluto is dying.
Grayson. Okay, on your bum. Stay on your bum.
So go check about this. Zeus was created to go against Heru, who bound and eliminated the two lands. Heru the Mechans, Heru the mystery of the two lands.
Good time to show up. Get down.
Yeah. Pluto was only swelling because Africans were expanding, were taking action. Authentic action. Remember, authentic action does not destroy the planet. Authentic action is not a villain to the waters, to the seas. Authentic action does not destroy, it enhances. Right now, even if I'm to tell you that the oceans are not supposed to be as salty as they are. The oceans are not supposed to be so much salty that when you enter, you cannot open your eyes hurt. It's not supposed to be like that. But our actions, the actions of the collective consciousness is gradually destroying the planet. Yeah, Pluto will not die. As long as Elon is already here, you know. Elon is already taking us to Mars. Pluto will not die. Pluto will start to swell again. Pluto will come back. But for now, know the reason why Pluto is dying.
Oh my gosh.
So Saturn, you comprehended Mars. You comprehended. Remember, I'm focusing mostly first on Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn because these are the planets that are action oriented. They carry the day. They carry the 7 days so much. Because when it comes to the sun is there for everyone, cannot be destroyed, can never be reversed. The moon is there for women, can never be destroyed, can never be reversed. It is automatic. It was created by the dinosaurs, by the ancestors that came before us that were not even human beings. So, as human beings, our job was to empower Mars, to empower Jupiter, and to empower Saturn. Using the days. So now Saturn was known as, in ancient Africa as Heru, the bull of the sky. Saturn was known as Heru, the bull of the sky. So remember, Mars, Heru the red one, or Heru the horizon. Jupiter, Heru, who bounds the two lands. Saturn, Heru the bull of the sky. What is a bull? I've taught you these things. What is a bull? What does bull represent? Wealth. Great. So the bull in ancient Africa represented wealth. The bull was symbolic of divine wealth that can be obtained. Now, presence of divine wealth automatically brought rest and restriction. Even that right now. If you're wealthy, will you go around doing things that you don't like? Will you misuse yourself? Wealthy people don't misuse themselves. So automatically wealth induces rest. So presence of divine wealth automatically brought rest and restriction over by expansion. When there is no wealth, you misuse yourself. Because of lack of wealth that will make you do things you don't want to do. Lack of wealth will make you, suck up to people you don't want to suck up to. So Heru, the bull of the sky, was associated with wealth, with self-discipline, self-respect, and self-usefulness, and not misuse. Saturn was known in ancient Africa as Heru, the bull of the sky, and it is wealth that is restricted by expansion. So without Heru, the red one, without Heru, the bounder between of the two lands, and without Heru, the bull of the sky, then we have no Pluto. We have no Pluto. Now, in place of Heru, the bull of the sky, the Greeks invented Kronos. Kronos is pronounced as I'm saying it. In place of Heru, the bull of the sky, the Greeks invented Kronos.
She looks like that.
Which was the first ever god they created to start their work of restricting over expansion, of restriction. Okay, let me start. In place of Heru, the bull of the sky, the Greeks invented Kronos, which was the first ever god they created. This was the first ever god. When Greeks wanted to destroy indigenous culture, when Greeks wanted to destroy black people from all over the world, the first thing they did was they created Kronos. Before even they created Zeus, before even they created Ares, they first of all created Kronos. And Kronos was created to start their work of restriction against indigenous wealth. It was Kronos that fathered the first generation of Olympians, who are the failures. And when you see in Egypt, the Norse Kronos, you can either write it with K, you can either write or you can write it with C, but it is Kronos, not Luz. Kronos. When you look at Egypt right now, you will see the Norses were removed, they were destroying everything, even the pyramid was destroyed, everything that was up there was, it was a dedicated practice. Some of you, I tell you here, do an egg cleanse. You cannot do an egg cleanse because you are embarrassed. The Greeks were ready to go into Kemet and destroy everything. Destroying a nose. They were ready. You, when you're told here, recite this, you are embarrassed. You can never match the Greeks. Remember, if you want to fight the battle, you have to match them and even be high. And you're shameless. Because these people were very shameless. These people would go into libraries, collect books, go bless them inside a boat, inside a ferry, drive into the unknown of the sea. They don't care whether they're going to die there. Deepest part of the sea, deepest part of the ocean, so that nobody ever accesses it. They were dedicated. So when you see me here dedicated, like, leave me alone. You don't know what I'm fighting. Exactly. because I know how much the Greeks were dedicated. Somebody has reported me. Now let me see one. Let's see. Your life contains things that some may find uncomfortable. Yes. So guys, are you listening? Let the elders do whatever they want to do. As we are here like the Greeks, we are going to copy the Greeks step by step. Because guess what? If you want to go and defeat an enemy, and remember these things are still there up to today. Whatever they planted are still there up to today. So I'm telling you, if you don't have dedication, just leave. This is not part of your, you will not succeed. This job wants people who can be dedicated to the tiniest, leaving nothing to chance. So are you listening to me? So these three planets are the ones that were named after Heru directly. Because the ancient Africans believed that without Heru, there's no Mars. Without Heru, there's no taking action. Without Heru, there's no Jupiter. Without Heru, there's no expanding. Without Heru, there's no Saturn. Without Heru, there's no resting. Oh, there's no rest for the wicked. There's no rest for those who don't listen to him authority. There's no rest for those who don't harvest the 7 days. You will never rest. You'll be poor forever. And as long as your poor, rent has to be paid, bills have to be paid, land has to be paid for, everything is going to be paid for. By the time the Greeks are done with us, the descendants of the Greeks are done with us, we will not be able to survive. Because we will not harvest the 7 days. Because right now, even sitting at home and snoring, you have to pay. Guys, am I lying? And it is stretching to Africa. Africa was the only place where you used to sit at home and rest. Because the ancestors knew we needed it. A lot of us have come from lineages of hard working people. But right now, Wi-Fi needs to be paid. Water needs to be everything. Now it's paying. You have to pay for everything. If you don't work, you will not rest. If you don't have it the 7 days, you will never rest. And remember, it is a way of bringing rest. Now, let me move to Mercury. The name of Mercury. Those three transformational planets, action-oriented planets. But remember, Mars is action-oriented. Heru, the red one. Jupiter is action-oriented. Heru, the merchant, the binder of the two lands. Saturn is action-oriented. Heru, the blue of the sky, the wealth of the heaven. Now, Mercury was called thought. Now, Mercury is the planet of communication, yes. And Mercury was called thought, and Mercury was linked to Ibis and Baboon. Bantus, Baboon are not bad people. Rafiki, the Lion King, very important part of survival. Bantus, you have to go back to your animal. There's a narrative that is going around that no, we did not come from Earth. We did not come from Earth to keep Bantus away from connecting. Animals are very important and this came from them. You cannot deny. You cannot see yourself. You know, this thing of Bantus denying that they come from the apes is the reason why Bantu deny darkness. Coloring is denying Bantu and not like denying anywhere else. Bantu want to be associated with Bantu in Kenya. They want to be associated with Europe and the Americans more than even the Bible. You are running away. And the Greeks, that was a setup. It was an intentional setup by the Greeks. For you to hate the Niloids, for you to hate the patriarchs of your own lineage, in order for even the seeds not to be protected. You naturally hate. Hey, Wajaluo tu sisi tunachukia hating the patriarchs intentionally. It was a setup by the Greeks. Move your way. Right now, what tells South Africa that it became apes that were inhabiting South Africa originally?
Christine is taking a more hands-on approach.
Do
you feel like she is? I think she has in the last couple months, don't you think?
With this team in particular,
Yeah,
but she has a passion for this team, right?
They will make
even more than
just
gymnastics.
by
Yeah.
saying that.
And she wants
She
them
was
to do
totally
well.
associated with the ancestors that they came from.
team at all.
Swallowed out of the Bantu.
Last year she was
Not
there
going
more.
anywhere.
Every Wednesday, Christine would finish up with the girls on the other side and come over. It's this year she's not there at all.
They don't even speak.
But she's here.
Okay, I felt the last 2 months has been more.
They speak like
On
they
Wednesdays,
know.
I don't see
They speak like
Christine
the
at all at
monkey.
the gym. It's Laura. Laura.
Maybe it's just you.
But that's a conversation we will have another time. So listen. Mercury was linked to the Ibis above and to the baboon below.
There we go. There we go.
In the dawn of time, in the beginning,
There we go. Very nice.
Because
Very
remember
nice.
the apes, there were apes that were very intellectual, the ones that were morphed into human beings. So they also recorded history. The history that is recorded in Kemet is not the only history. The history that was recorded by the apes is the history that nobody wants to connect. Because the apes also recorded history. Even the Ishango bomb that started from was apes counting their videos. Those apes are not stupid, they are not stupid. In fact, they are the smartest of all. They are the smartest of all. But people don't want to connect to them because people want to connect to the Nilotes. And remember, Europeans are also just Nilotes. So people want to connect to the Nilotes more, not knowing that Nilotes don't exist without the Bantus. The bipedal human being doesn't exist without the apes. So now, Mercury was linked to the baboon and the ibis. Nganga, you know Nganga? In the dawn of time, I've always told you about the ibis. I want you to master the ibis so much because the ibis play a very important role. Now let me show you an ibis student. See? This bird that is always there on top of a set's head, is always there on top of a lot of deities' head. I'm sure you've always seen that particular bird. The ibis. It is always making noise around spiritual people. If ibis is always around you, just know that you're a very spiritual person. They have no business being around people who are asleep. People who are asleep don't even notice their existence. So if the ibis is always making noise around you, know that you're very spiritual. And some of you ibis have been following you since you were a little kid. And when you move, they move. When you move, they move. When you go, they go. Notice. Be aware. Now, Mercury was initially called Thoth. Remember, Thoth is the one that represents the Nganga and the baboon. The ibis and the baboon. Which stood for communication, showing that communication was based on the ability to think and utilize yourself, which is Thoth. Capricorn is just Gemini in use. Capricorn energy is what? Gemini in use. And I've taught you this before. I've always taught you that as above, so below. It is the things that are above that connect you below. There is no Gemini without the ears above. And there is no Capricorn without Gemini. So Capricorn is just Gemini in use. And that is what represents Mercury. Gemini in use is Mercury. Is it clicking home? The ability to think in use.
Alright.
Is what makes you utilize yourself. Please, Serena, beautiful. I also want you to just comprehend it also. Comprehend it because it is self-explanatory. In order for you to utilize yourself, you must think for yourself. In order for you to utilize yourself effectively, you must think for yourself. So just that connection, that combination of Gemini and Capricorn is what was called Mercury. Now Mercury was later linked in the beginning, listen, in the beginning, Mercury is linked to Capricorn and Gemini, which is Ibis, Thoth, which now we call Thoth. But towards the end, Mercury is later now. Remember we have the one in the beginning and we have the one in the end. In the beginning, Mercury is Thoth, but in the end, at end times, which is now the battle of Nilotes, then Mercury later becomes Set, knowledge. Mercury becomes Set, mythology of the Bantu woman, which is in the beginning. In the beginning is Thoth, the Bantu woman, and Thoth is with God, and Thoth is God.
Okay, fine.
No, I just love the way they
While in the end, Thoth becomes Set. Meaning in the end, communication becomes more. Guys, are is it clicking? Is it clicking? Yes. Set is knowledge. Knowledge starts at communication. And in the end, communication becomes knowledge stored in library. So when the Greeks were conducting book burning ceremony, they were destroying Set of Africa. They were destroying
Is she
knowledge
okay?
of Africa that started from communication. Yeah, gold inakutanga tu pole pole. Now guess what? The Greeks later changed Thoth into Hermes. I'm always telling you, Hermes and the Sion said that a time is coming when the truth shall go underground to be preserved for a future time. Now here is Hermes. The Greeks later changed the Thoth into Hermes. The gossip star. The gossip is why Hermes is a star that is a gossiper. That's what Hermes was. Jafwamogikeyo in Luo. Luo, you know, Jafwamogikeyo. That is who Hermes
But she
is.
tumbles the same every time. She doesn't have to worry about anything.
Was Jafwamogikeyo, a gossiper who will spy on other civilizations and come snitch to the Greeks so they can go destroy the truth. That is how all that God Hermes was. So as I teach this topic, you should even know the difference between God and God. The Greeks, they created God to destroy. Generate, operate, destroy. Generate, operate, destroy. Africans, they created God. Generate, operate, generated. Generate, operate, generated results. And results becomes a star. The star is God. So now the Greeks changed thought into Hermes. Now you know, man. And the work of Hermes was like a journalist who would spy on other civilizations and come snitch to the Greeks so they can go destroy the truth. Now finally, I'm talking about Venus. This is the last that I'm doing. Venus was referred to as Phoenix bird or the heron bird in ancient Africa, and was believed to thrive from wealth of Asa. Venus was believed to thrive from the wealth of Asa. Love only thrives in wealth. Love only thrives in wealth. The phoenix bird, just from the word phoenix, and then the heron bird. So Africans call it the phoenix or the heron. To them it means the same thing. Heron is like H-E-R-O-N. You can go check that bird out. Very beautiful bird of the water. Yes, love only thrives in wealth, not beauty. And remember, love is what brings beauty. Beauty also only thrives in wealth. The phoenix was believed to be fabulous and representative of the ability to die and come back to life just like a star. So love was connected to a star a lot, it was connected to wealth a lot. Just like Heru brought a star back to life, Heru also has the ability to bring love back to life, which is the phoenix. The phoenix rises back to life. What is that symbolic of? Venus. Death and rebirth. Hence the planet Venus being known as the phoenix or the heron in ancient Africa. In place of the phoenix, the Greeks created Aphrodite. Right now you just find black women, Aphrodite. Ignorance is okay. Forgive yourself for things you do when you're beauty. Aphrodite is not for you black woman, it's an inverted version of you, my baby. So now in place of the phoenix that rises from the ashes, the Greeks created Aphrodite, whose entire existence was to be a total contradiction of the ancient African phoenix of the heron bird. Unlike the phoenix of the heron bird of ancient Africa, that rises from difficulty, from chaos, and is backed by asar, support. Love is always rising from difficulties and chaos. That is its birthright. To rise from the ashes like the phoenix. So when that is the real story of love. And the Mexican have kept it alive up to today through their story. They're always telling me about the story of love, how it goes through difficulty, That was the phoenix. But unlike the phoenix and the heron bird of Africa that rise from difficulty, chaos, and is backed by asar support, coming in from the dead into life, more powerful than ever before. Aphrodite is like foam. That white thing that you get when you're washing clothes, that is what Aphrodite is. That is the symbolism of Aphrodite. Aphrodite is like foam coming from nothing, fragile and easy to make disappear. That's the real definition of Aphrodite. Fragile, so they make beauty to look like fragility.
I told her, so I'm like, go all
The
out.
more
Just go
fragile you
away
are,
with
the more
that. Let's
beautiful
go
you
do.
consider. And our ancestors will lie to you also. A lot of people here, a lot of beautiful women of this time. Oh my God, inside of them. Because our ancestors also knew that they needed to camouflage. A lot of women, the most beautiful women that I've met personally, and it cannot be a coincidence. Yes, I'm telling
Yeah, she's right
I
after.
believe in sampling.
Right after awards, they
Most
start
beautiful
to
women that I've met, oh my God, they are fucking stones on the inside. Because that is the true identity of the Aphrodite, of the phoenix. The true identity of the phoenix is toughness, the ability to rise. That is what beauty is. The ability to rise against all odds. Against all odds. Against all odds. That is what love is. Against all odds. But then the Greeks, they made love the opposite. The more fragile, useless, nothing is on the inside. Just be, what they call beauty is fragile, can be destroyed in 1 minute. You can just do this and it is gone. And people who are feeding that kind of beauty, you are losing. There is nothing in feeding that because it's like foam. Aphrodite is, another name for Aphrodite is foam. The original name for Aphrodite is foam. Something that is, you see the way foam, buoyo, exactly. Buoyo is very easy to kill off, like you can even blow on like this. And buoyo is gone. That's the opposite of the phoenix. True love is tough as fuck, like a phoenix. And it is that gives you, it is that true love that gives you beauty. So beauty is supposed to be tough as fuck. Love is supposed to be tough as fuck. So instead of worshiping the Aphrodite, worship the phoenix. And guys, that brings me to the end of this particular class. I hope you are surprised because I kept this particular topic as a surprise. No, we want more. Hakuna more one. You know, short and sweet. Enjoy the meal. There's no more. Thank you, Lavender. Yeah. So that's all that I have for you today. And if you don't know, I'm expanding. I'm at the point where my body is expanding, my body is upgrading, so I'm not fully well. I don't know if you can tell. But I'm not fully well. When I was in my last live with my OnlyFans people, I told them. So allow me to leave early because my body is expanding. Me, I don't know sickness. There's nothing like disease for me. It's either expansion or nothing. So anytime my body is uncomfortable, I just know that expansion is coming. Expansion is happening. So guys, that is the end of our live and probably 14th of March. So relax. We're gonna get there. There's somebody also, I think people too, who they don't know their birth dates. That's another thing. I'm still thinking on the best way to help you. So I'm going to be coming. Yeah, and also this month of course was my birthday month. So I think also the discomfort that I'm feeling also has to do with me being born again. If you Merci for being here and thank you. Merci for being here and see you next time. I love you guys and stay committed because the Greeks are committed, guys. The Greeks are shameless. And that's the reason why I'm telling you. I'm telling you, for you to remove me out of this path, you're going to have to uproot me from my ancestral realm. I will not leave this path. I will not leave this path. Just go no. You know the Greeks were very committed and I'm like, I'm following their footsteps. Somebody say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. Bye. I don't want to catch you on let me shake there. Tuesday. Thank you guys. Thank you. Know that this is a lot of commitment. And me, I want to tell you a secret. As long as you stay on this path, you're going to stay young. You're going to stay young. You will not age. As long as you stay in this path of avenging the ancestors and making sure that the planet moves towards the correct direction, you are not going to age. That is the reward. For I said so loud the world that she gave her only begotten child, so that whoever believed in her rule shall not perish. That's the gift. That's the gift. So kindly stay on this path. And I'm glad that as I was saying that there was 144 of you. Stay on this path. Your younger siblings will come just passing you. You know, when people are moving towards the wrong direction, they age very fast. People that are moving towards the wrong direction, they age very fast. Stay on this path and you're going to even age in reverse. Me, I'm promising you that. So it's not to stay young, stay on your soul path. Whatever it looks like. Kill shame. Kill shame. Kill shame. Kill shame. Kill
What time are you
shame.
leaving
Kill
tonight?
shame. Kill shame.
Are you leaving tonight?
I'm telling you, kill shame. Kill
9?
feeling shame on behalf of other people.
Okay, I'm gonna come to your house later.
Because
Okay.
shame
Alright.
is an indication that you are
Bye.
abandoning certain parts of yourself. Kill shame. Remove shame from your soul path. Remove shame from your soul path. If you want to learn something from the Greeks, remove shame from your soul path. The Greeks were shameless. They are important believers.
Yes. She's too much. Where's your child? Who's your daughter?
They're just following the temples.
What can you do when you know you're kill
So is she in TNT?
Yes.
because when you are not on the path of
It's
attention,
super
are
gym.
shameless.
Super gym.
Why would you be ashamed when you're moving in the path of attention? Me, I don't even care how I look. At this particular
So are
point,
you planning
I
to
don't
go?
care how you see me. I don't care what you say about me. I don't give a fuck.
So are you guys competing and honest?
You go down with that shit.
We just came from Florida.
Kill shame. Anyway, guys, thank you. Oh, see you. Best Mary, thank you so much. Yeah, kill shame. Kill shame. Let people exist in their own ways and then exist in your own ways. Explain yourself to nobody. You do the right thing
You want to
according
go medal in Florida?
to even if it is contradictory to everyone around you.
Have a little slip.
Stand the ground.
The first place.
So that's how you we make
But, you know,
She's fantastic.
we're trying.
Yeah,
She loves it.
you can tell that.
Yeah, this is her second year.
Vengeance is the Lord. The collective consciousness will handle. Will handle the vengeance. The collective
He works
consciousness
hard.
will handle the vengeance.
Wants to be well.
They're going to the basketball game. They're going to the Devon will be home.
Yeah, I bring up to them.
People, they beg you with
They're adults.
vengeance. They beg you with revenge. So that you start running after them and as you run after them,
She's been coaching here, but she's away at university and she's comes home and
I just want to do that. No.
and some lunch.
Patient and be shameless in your gentleman. Bye.
Well, at least she's not tired. I thought she'd be tired. We just came back from Florida last night because we stayed.
And you brought
We
her
had a
today? Oh, good for you.
we had a full vacation.
That's nice.
We're all over the
Make the
place.
most of it, right?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
How was the sun? Like, was it hot?
some days
And some days were cool. Like, you
we're
had
cool.
to do
Like
light
when
jacket.
we went to Miami and
Yeah.
it was cold. We didn't go in the water. We went to the beach and I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm in Canada.
That's not nice.
Red is hilarious.
He's a good coach.
He is.
Yeah.
Huh?
He's a good coach.
He is. But he's hilarious. He's funny. He has he's with the kids. He pretends like he's rough. My daughter's coach is not here today. Still
Oh,
away.
from Florida? They went together?
Her coach is in Florida. Yeah, but